All right, guys, it's here. The FHF gear FOB Bino harness. And let me tell you what, I am loving this thing. This is spring bear hunt, and I just picked this up about a week and a half ago. Lucky me, got a little bit on an early release, and I tell you what, I love this Bino harness. Paul and the guys over at FHF Gear have absolutely hit a home run with this thing. There are so many features that I can't even go over them all. It's incredible, to be honest with you. I've got it set up here with the rangefinder pouch. It comes with a singular wind check pouch. One of the really cool features of this, and I'll get into it more, is that it has, and hopefully you can see it, get my wind check bottle out here. It has this little cool pocket right here. Yeah, that'll fit your diaphragm calls. Sweet, how cool is that? I think I have at least 2 of them stuffed in there right now, if not 3. So freaking awesome idea. Great job, guys. This is a MOLLE attached pocket, so you can put it on either side of the harness. You can get an extra one. I'm actually probably going to get an extra one, maybe, I don't know yet. I was going to get an extra one for my outdoorsman binocular holder, their little attachment, and I'll go into more of that in just a minute. But I found this really cool spot to store it, so I don't know that I need another one. So let's check out the magnetic rangefinder pouch. This thing is slick as heck. So the cool thing about it is magnetic. It is fairly quiet. You can go pretty slow. The other cool thing is that you pull it down and it actually has a very quiet magnet so that it stays open and stays out of the way. So you're on your stock and you got to grab your rangefinder pouch out, or your rangefinder, and you can leave it out, throw it back in there. Maybe you got to move a little bit, but you don't want to be closing it for whatever reason. Don't want to make some noise. Super handy. The rangefinder itself, you can get their little cord, shot cord, lanyard, and inside the pouch, nothing real special there, but it works pretty dang slick. One of the things that I like about the other pouch that I'll show you is it has an inside pocket. Kind of cool if they had one in here, but not necessary. So yeah, that's the Bino pocket attachment. Again, we talked about the wind check. Now, one thing I do want to show you really quickly, if you can see it, and I'll turn so the sun can catch it here, is I have my outdoorsman, and this is my binocular attachment, so I can put my binos on my tripod. And this is the outdoorsman one, specifically made for my Swarovski binoculars. And I used to, on the old pouches, it had 2 pockets on each side, kind of similar to this, that were a mesh pocket, and I would always just stuff this down in there. However, this doesn't really fit in this pocket that well. This pocket's just a little bit bigger than the old ones, so it's kind of loose. But interestingly enough, there's this little loop right here that it slides down into. With one hand, I can get it in there, hopefully. And it stays perfect, and it's out of the way. Love it. So moving on, you've got a nice little zippered pocket right here. The material at the front of the Bino harness is, again, it's stretchy, so you can put a lot of stuff in here. One of the things that I store in there, and let me grab it out of my pocket, sorry for the weird, is this guy. And this is my phone scope adapter for my phone scope that goes on my spotting scope. I actually have one for my binocular harness, or for my binos, also, which is on my phone scope right now, which is what's making this video. And so I will store the extra one in here. And I do have a remote in there also for my, switch hands here again, and that'll zip up, and that fits in there perfectly. So I've got my extra adapter for my phone scope. So I carry two, one for my spotting scope and one for my binoculars. And whichever one I don't have on my phone scope at the time will go in here. I also keep a wireless Bluetooth remote, and this is going to be hard to get out with one hand, I can tell. I keep a wireless Bluetooth remote in there also that I use for phone scoping. Let's see if I can dig it out of there. And that helps me to start and stop my recordings. Oh, got a lens clock in there as well. Got all sorts of stuff in here. It's like a little hidden gem. There we go. So I have my little Bluetooth remote that I stick in there to start and stop my phone scope recordings. So great little pocket. You can store all sorts of stuff in there. One thing that I'm looking forward to is actually putting a little magnetic mount for my GoPro in there so that I have the GoPro on the front of my body rather than like wearing it up here or somewhere else. And then let's move over to this side of the Bino harness. Right here I've got my Kestrel, again, magnetic closure, nice and quiet. And I've got my Kestrel in there for long range shooting if I want. The beautiful part about the FOB Bino harness is that it's got MOLLE on the sides and on the bottom. And so you can mount a lot of different accessories on this thing, different pouches, wherever you want, customize it however you want. And then over here I have their little accessory pouch. I hesitated to buy this at first, and then I got it and I am absolutely in love with it. The one thing I really like about it is it fits my GoPro camera with the media mod mount perfectly. So there's that little guy. And I'm using this to capture a lot of my hunts and film, and I love it. The other cool thing about this, and I'll put the GoPro in my pockets here so I don't drop it off a cliff, is that this pocket inside, see if I can get a good view here. Inside here, there's a little pocket for holding calls or whatever, mouth calls, wallet, whatever, I don't know. You could store all kinds of stuff in there. I usually put my lens cap for the camera in there. And then on the outside, it also has, again, another little pocket, which is great. I have a little tripod mount for my GoPro stuffed in there right now. And so, yeah, this thing is epic, man. I absolutely love it. These guys totally have thought of everything. Now let's talk about the Bino harness itself. I'm a huge fan of FHF gear. Paul and I have been friends since he started this company in 2009. And I've had the opportunity to test, try out a lot of different products from FHF gear. If you're looking for an unbiased opinion of FHF gear, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. Because I believe in American-made products. I believe in Paul and the company that he started. He's a very close friend of mine. And I mean, the guy just gets it. And one thing I love about Paul is that anytime I've ever tried or tested a piece of gear for him, any kind of feedback that I give him, he takes it to heart. He listens to what I have to say about whether I like it, whether I dislike it, and he's always looking for ways to improve his gear. And that's what is really important to me, is their level of customer service there. Their thought into these products is just incredible. And I've been talking to Paul for years about coming up with a magnetic style Bino harness. I'm not taking any credit for this whatsoever. This was all on him. This was all on those guys. But I appreciate the fact that they went there eventually. I didn't mind the flip up style, but the thing that I hated about the flip up style is that sometimes if you didn't get it hooked just right, if you bent over, the binos would fall out and could potentially hit the ground. This thing, even with it open, if I bend over, they're not falling out in any way, shape, or form. And again, it just works. It's awesome. There's so many features in this Bino harness. So let's check that out. So he's got a really nice big thumb hole here. So if you've got mittens on, you can catch it with the thumb and pull it down. You can obviously grab it and pull it down. But the cool thing about it is, just like the rangefinder pouch, is it's magnetic and it stays open like this so that your binos are at the ready and at the access. He's used some different straps here to connect the binos. There's still a quick disconnect buckle here. And then obviously the binos fit down in and are nice and snug and are closed. There is a magnetic closure here. Hopefully you can see it. Get the strap out of the way. The magnet's actually right here, and that's what closes on the harness. And so let's talk about the features inside the Bino harness. And this might be tough to catch with this video angle, so I may have to get another one. I have another little lens cloth that I keep down inside there. But one of the really cool features of this Bino harness is that it comes with this layered foam system here, as you can see. Let's get you some light. And it has several different layers of foam, so you can adjust the thickness of how deep you need your Bino harness to be. But one of the really cool features is, check that out. That is a battery for my rangefinder. They have these little cutouts, and I think you should be able to see them if I get it right. There's little cutouts for different sized batteries. There's round batteries for the Kestrel batteries, or the batteries for your rangefinder, or whatever. You can push those little cutouts out and stuff a battery in there, and then you've got extra batteries with you. Like, incredible brilliance. And this is just a little Velcro strap to hold those together. So that fits down inside the harness, and maybe you can see in there, gives you a little bit of a some extra padding for the bottom of your binos, and then it lifts it up to where you need to be. The one downside that I've found with this Bino harness so far, and it's not a huge deal, is that my binos, these Swarovskis, they have this, let's see if I can film this. They have this little lip right here, and this is the nipple that goes into my tripod attachment that I showed you that's over here. And when I slide it in, when I slide the binos in, sometimes that catches right here on this. Hopefully you can see it. Open it up a little bit. Catches right here. So what happens is they kind of stop like that, and they don't fall all the way into the harness. Now granted, this Bino harness is only a week old, so I think the more I use it, the more it'll probably form itself, and I won't have that issue at all. But sometimes when that happens, the only thing that happens is that it won't close all the way because the binos are sticking up too tall. So other than that, oh, that's really weird. I just caught the string on my little key ring thingy there. Other than that, that is the only thing that I've found that is kind of a downside or a con to this Bino harness. Incredibly adjustable. One thing let's talk about really quickly are the new shoulder straps. These things are awesome. I'm going to take this off and we're going to start another video because I want to show you some features that I think are really important for this guy. All right, so let's take a look at the back of the Bino harness here. So talking about the straps, they're awesome. One of the very first Bino harnesses that Paul ever made was literally just this 1-inch webbing that went back and connected in kind of a yoke system at the back here, and then was very much kind of the same straps that we're using here in buckles, very similar buckles, that would come around and attach into the Bino harness. And after the first go around of Bino harnesses, I told Paul that one of the issues that I was having, because I pack a lot of heavy packs sometimes, is that this 1-inch strapped webbing would dig into my collarbone, into my shoulders, into my into like the top of your shoulders, and it was uncomfortable. And so Paul graciously listened to my advice and made a slip over cover that went over the 1-inch webbing, and basically had some padding, provided some padding, and it worked awesome. It was a great idea. Well, what does he do? He takes this idea to the next level and comes out with this guy, and I absolutely love it. So again, you have some MOLLE style webbing right here so that you can connect different things. It's got this air mesh on the sides, venting so that it stays nice and cool, and a little bit of padding on the edges here so that it lifts it up off of your shoulders. It's great. It's absolutely amazing. Now, yesterday when I was hiking, I did about a 4.5 mile hike back from my camp. And I was in a t-shirt because it was 75 degrees out. And the edge of this right here did kind of rub on my neck just a little bit, but I also found that I had I didn't have the Bino harness, like I just didn't have it fitted right. One of the straps was a little bit loose, and as soon as I like pulled the collar of my shirt up, because the collar of my shirt had slid down, it resolved the issue, and it was no problem at all. Incredibly adjustable. These buckles are really awesome. I won't go into all the details of these buckles, but they're really awesome. They let's see if I can unclick it real fast. These are freaking sweet, man. You can take them on and off one-handed. It's kind of difficult, but there you go. It's off that quickly. If for whatever reason you needed to take it off, I don't think you should, but whatever. I mean, if you need to do your thing, that's fine. Let's get those back on there, maybe. I don't know if I can put it back on one-handed and hold the camera, but anyway, that's fine. Now let's talk about these side pouches. So this is the rangefinder pouch here. This is the accessory pouch here. Again, MOLLE attachments, and I won't go into how MOLLE works, but you guys can figure that out. The cool thing about these is that he's got these little buckles right here. These are sewn in loops into the Bino harness. These do not come standard with the Bino harness. This is a purchased accessory. And so what normally your Bino harness would look like, and again, all right, sorry about that. I had to shut the video off so that I could undo these buckles. Too difficult to do one-handed. But basically the way this works is these buckles have this awesome little hook on there, and these hooks slide through these sewn in loops on the side of the Bino harness. That's how easy that is to remove. This right here, which is actually holding my outdoorsman tripod, is the loop that this buckle right here goes through if you don't want this side attachment and you just want the Bino harness, or maybe you just want one of these accessory pouches. This buckle right here, it's actually not this buckle, but it's a buckle that looks exactly like that, comes in this loop, and this is where your shoulder strap would connect into. So click, it would click in right there. And so if you have just the standard Bino harness and you don't have the accessory pouch, you obviously wouldn't be able to use this loop right here to store anything like how I'm using it right now. For me, I can store it on there because obviously I've got this guy. And so pretty easy. These things just slip on here. See if I can do this one-handed. One, and then this guy. This one could be a little bit trickier to do one-handed. Oh, there we go. Got it on there. And then you just flip these guys up. And she's locked back into place. And our little accessory pouch is back on. Pretty slick. And again, it's got some mesh material here. All right, so the last feature that I want to show and talk about with you guys today is this. So obviously in Paul's original design, he didn't have any pockets on the back of the Bino harness. Again, I'm not taking credit for it, but one of the conversations we had would be, oh man, it would be awesome if there's a pocket back here so you could stuff your phone or your tags or stuff like that in there. And so voila, here we have it. This pocket has been a continuation of his old designs. However, there is some really cool technology here that I want to show you. It is epic. This is 3D air mesh, and this stuff is awesome. I can't even show you really. It's about I would say anywhere from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch thick. And what do I mean by thick? I mean, it's actually like, I wish you got to see it in person to really understand and grasp what it is. Try to give you a couple of different views here. But it keeps the Bino harness off of your chest, this 3D air mesh actually, it's like almost like honeycomb. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't know where the heck these guys found this stuff, but every company in the market is gonna have this stuff on their gear eventually. It's awesome. It is really cool, and it works incredibly well at keeping your chest ventilated. It was 70 degrees here yesterday, 75 probably, and it got hot. I was down into my t-shirt, and so ultimately my chest stayed nice and dry. And I keep my phone in here when I'm hiking and I've got my phone scope adapter attached to it. I like to have my phone handy and ready, and I hike with my phone in here. And a lot of problems that I had with the old one is that I'd go to pull my phone out and it would be like completely soaking wet from just precipitation, or perspiration I should say, sweat basically. And yesterday I pulled my phone out and I never at any time had any sweat on my phone at all. So it definitely works to keep it really dry. This is the other pouch over here that I showed you before, and it's basically, like I said, it's attached the same way. There would have been a buckle right here if you didn't have that pouch attached. And then on this side, like I said, I've got the Kestrel holder here, and the Kestrel holder is on there with Molly as well. So you can add all sorts of different attachments. One of the really cool thing that I don't know if you can actually see it or not is that, oh, there we go. Check that out. There is my lens pen, and I have my lens pen just tucked down in between the Molly attachment right here. This to me might be my favorite feature of this Bino harness, believe it or not, because I have lost at least a dozen lens pens out of my previous versions of the FHF gear Bino harness. Normally I would like stuff them down in here and hope that, you know, the little clip on the side of the lens pen would attach to the inside of the Bino harness. Paul used to have on his old Bino harnesses, there was like this slanted pocket right here. And I think his original intent was that you could put a lens pen in there. But the problem is these lens pens, I don't care which one you have, they're just these little plastic clips. They never hang on. You always lose them. They always fall out. This thing is not going anywhere. Like, it is in there and it works really, really well. So unintended probably feature of this Bino harness. Paul, if you're watching, it works awesome. I love it. You guys just nailed this thing. It's a total home run. This is just an absolute great product. It comes in all different sorts of patterns. This is the, I think this is the Fusion pattern. And it comes in tan and Ranger green as well. And then also one of the other First Light patterns. There's Fusion and I can't remember the other one. But great product. Extremely happy with it. You got your bear spray holster right there if you need it. Razco makes a holster attachment that you can put a sidearm underneath your Bino harness. And overall, this thing is just bomb proof. I absolutely love this Bino harness. I mean, it just doesn't get any better, to be honest with you. These guys really hit this thing out of the ballpark. So if you're looking at getting one of these, I'll put a link in the description. You guys can pick up this Bino harness from Paul at FHF Gear, and it's called the FOB. FOB stands for Forward Opening Bino Harness, and it works awesome. It works really well. I'm really pleased with this. I honestly can't think of any other features that I would add to this, with the exception of maybe another little sewn in stretch pocket right here for some extra mouth calls. I am kind of crazy when it comes to elk calls. I carry usually 4 to 5. You can throw them in here, but it might be nice to throw them in there too, just because I'm probably, like I said, I'm gonna probably have a magnetic mount in here for my GoPro, and I won't be carrying my adapters. These are the adapters for my phone scope. Got them all laid out here. And so I don't know. Otherwise, it's perfect in my opinion. I really don't know how you could improve this and make it any better, but I'm sure the guys at FHF Gear will figure something out. and who knows, maybe we'll see something new, something crazy. I'm sure accessory pouches or something like that. One thing that I might talk to Paul about building is a pouch similar to this for carrying a small tripod. I do know that he makes a pouch on the side that you can attach and on the bottom that will carry your bipod. There's a particular bipod brand, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, that they make a holder for. And that might even actually work for a small tripod. The reason I like a small tripod is for my GoPro. But there you have it. That's the FOB. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. Head over to FHF Gear. They got a YouTube channel. You can see more about this product. I'll throw a link up in the corner of this video of their FOB video. And hit me up if you have any questions. Let me know what you think of the FOB. If you're thinking about trying it, or if you've never tried it, or if you're just curious about any of the features, or maybe you don't understand something that I showed today, hit it up in the comments, and yeah, I'll be happy to answer. Good luck this year, guys.